There was this great image that came out the other day of what I think should be the new cover of the Brooks Brothers catalog of Ken. He's called Ken and Karen, that gun couple. The guy's wearing the pink polo shirt and the chinos. He's holding his AR-15, and Karen is holding that little tiny James Bond gun. They're kind of swinging the guns all over, not great trigger discipline. So this guy, they call him Ken, the guy who's wearing the pink polo with the gun. He goes on Chris Cuomo's show on CNN. And Chris Cuomo has a narrative in mind. Chris Cuomo hates that this couple defended themselves. Chris Cuomo loves that the rioters are running roughshod all over the country. And so he directed his ire at the man who defended himself.
Guy stands in front of me, pulls out 2 loaded pistol magazines, snaps them together in front of my face, and says, "You're next." Okay? If you were there, Chris, I think you'd feel like you had a right to defend yourself as well.
Absolutely. Somebody takes out magazines or ammunition and clicks it and makes a direct threat to me, I would feel threatened 100%.
And that's what happened to me.
And look, I know that you're going through a process with this. I welcome you having counsel. If you were within your rights to do what you were doing, it should be adjudged as such. I wanted to talk to you about the broader implication because it's just a horrible picture of what's going on in America right now. So to me, it's not about what's right and what's wrong just in a court of law. It's about what we want right and wrong about how we treat each other. And that's why the president retweeted this tweet. Mr. Watkins, you know it, and Mr. McCloskey, you know it. He retweeted it because he liked the image of white resistance to this movement.
What? How on earth is that your conclusion from roving gang of thugs destroying your property, trespassing on your property, and a guy defends himself after another guy walks up with magazines and starts clicking them together and saying, "You're next," obviously threatening his life? What Chris Cuomo did is the thing the left always does. When their stupid, fake propaganda narratives get disproven, as he said, okay, fine, you're right in the particular. You're right about what actually happened. But even though you were right about that and I was completely wrong about that, what I'm talking about is a greater truth. Oh, yes, the greater truth that is completely disconnected from the actual truth. And the greater truth here, Mr. McCloskey, is that you're a white supremacist, and so is Donald Trump, and the peaceful protesters were totally peaceful. And yeah, I don't know what happened to your wrought iron gate, but it certainly wasn't those peaceful protesters that ripped it apart. No, and they would never have thrown weapons in front of your face. No, and they wouldn't have trespassed on your property. No. The greater truth is that Donald Trump is an orange man who is bad, and I guess a white man also because he's in the Ku Klux Klan, and you're a pawn in that, so sorry about that. Thankfully, I'm so glad this guy McCloskey stood up for himself, and he asked Chris where on earth he was getting that from. Is Chris Cuomo a mind reader?
And I'm not saying that was fair to you, but we know that's why he did it because that's why he deleted it. I wanted you to speak for yourself.
I'm glad you're a mind reader, because no one else thinks you are.
Oh, in fact, he didn't delete it. Good. Makes my point even more. No. You didn't say that. It was said to me for me. I'm thinking about something else where someone was screaming white power in a video that the president retweeted. He deleted that one. He didn't delete the one of you. I wanted to give you a chance to speak about it. We both know you don't have to be a mind reader to assess a pattern. You're not a mind reader either. I haven't seen the video of the person clapping the magazines, but you drew certain inferences from the behavior before you. I'm doing the same thing. We've seen behavior before us. I'm making a judgment.
Oh my gosh, this is so pathetic. Chris Cuomo was wrong in the particular, then he was wrong in his greater truth BS narrative. Then he was wrong about the tweet, which was the point he was trying to make. He said the president retweeted this, that's why he deleted it. I love McCloskey's line. Well, I'm glad you think you're a mind reader, Chris, because no one else thinks you are. Obviously not. And he goes, oh, no, wait, he didn't retweet it. Sorry, I got that part wrong, too. Okay, so every single thing that I've been saying for the last 3 minutes is complete BS. But anyway, I think I'm right, and you think you're right, so let's agree to disagree. Did you see what he said? He said, okay, well, Mr. McCloskey, look. Some guy was waving a gun in your face and threatening your life and your family's life and trespassing and destroying your property. So, look, but you're not a mind reader. You don't know what they were actually going to do. I mean, they told you what they were going to do and you saw them doing it and it actually happened, but you're not a mind reader. You drew certain inferences. And I, Chris Cuomo, have an imagination, so I invented completely fictitious stories. So, it's kind of the same thing. Chris Cuomo, obviously a joke, but he said something that is not true. It's perfectly wrong. But it does give you a fundamental, basic insight into the leftist worldview. He gave you, beyond the political issue and the BLM and the riots and the COVID and the taxes and whatever, he gave you the theological, the religious basis of the leftist worldview in about 10 seconds.
If you do the right thing for yourself and your community, things will get better in this country. You don't need help from above. It's within us.
There it is. That's progressivism. That is progressivism. If you come together and use politics in your community, we will perfect human nature. We will have a utopia on earth. As long as we have the right policies and a little more power and a little more money, we'll be able to fix all the problems in the world. You don't need God. You can be perfect. You can be perfect with our ideology. That is the lie that has been told to us by leftist politicians, by leftist intellectuals, going back at least to Karl Marx, and actually further back than Karl Marx. It's the lie that was told to us in the Garden of Eden. And it simply is not true. And people who have tried to affect politics this way have learned the hard way that it's not true, with a lot of human misery in the meantime. There is not a political solution to everything, to the problem of evil, to the problem of pain, to the problem of injustice lurking in people's hearts. There is not a final, perfect political solution to that. You do need God. Every wise person in all of human history has acknowledged that. And Chris Cuomo has not, which I suppose should be unsurprising to us. This video is sponsored by BlinkSale, the revolutionary invoicing software for contractors and small businesses. Spend less time billing and more time making bank with BlinkSale. Get a free trial at the link in the video description.